Do you struggle knowing what to do with this? If so, then stay tuned because today's video is all about resident services and I have 10 different resident services to help give you some inspiration for when it comes to decorating. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of the creators that are featured in today's video. Don't forget to go and show them some love because they are very talented individuals. But without further ado, let's get started. So for number one, we are on Cherry.Crossings Island. You can find her on Instagram, she is amazing. And this resident services is all about the castle walls, but they haven't fully enclosed it, which I think works nicely. So the front of the area, you have this nice castle wall set up with the turrets either side, and then you have this beautiful kind of little plaza with the fountain, which is gorgeous. And then you step back through and this is where your resident services is, but it's actually quite open, the paths either side, so you can get around easily, which I like. And then there's a bit of a party at the back here with all of the built up kind of statues, made a really nice display here. And even though the resident services building does get in the way a little bit, you can still see it when you head behind. I just love the way all of this looks. It works perfectly together. There's some nice stairs either side. She's really thought about how everything is accessible, and even though you're using kind of castle walls, castle things, it doesn't have to be crowded. You can still have that space, so perfectly done. For number two, I brought you to the island of Aqualeaf, created by crossing.acnh, and this is another really nice open resident services, but boy, there is so much detailing in the edging here. We've got fencing, the beautiful hedge fences, and also some different wood style fencing. We've got bushes, we've got trees, we've got the wood planter petitions, which look great. There's even a little scooter rack over here. I just love the way that all of these little details bring it together, and even though it's nothing kind of like big and grand, it's these little details that really do add to the build. And I love what she's done at the back, where they've got the little water ponds with the statues in, which just help frame the actual resident services building, which just works wonderfully. This is a gorgeous autumn town. Again, they've used the pathing around the outside so you can get around it, and there's a few different ways that you can access it. So I love thinking about that. I feel like the three-pronged effect for your resident services is a great way to go if you're struggling to think about how to access it and how it's going to flow with your island. For number three, we are on this gorgeous island created by Lenny_Crossing. They've made great use of the medieval sidewalls and the castle towers to create a courtyard style residence services. I love how all of the taller items are at the back of residence services surrounding the plaza and kind of fully enclosing it. She's also added in some nice details around the edges, so it's not just walls. We've got some seating, there's some floral items, some greenery, and at the front of resident services, she has created a gorgeous statue garden with a gazebo. The contrast between the height of the walls and this garden area is fantastic, and there's also some lovely pots of green which really complements the browns of the walls. Overall, this is just a gorgeous resident services area and a great idea for something that is a little bit different but also kind of very familiar. In at number 4, we have another autumn island, but this one is quite different from what we've seen so far. What I really like about this one is the fact that they've played with terraforming. It's not uniformed, it feels quite natural, and you kind of get this whole kind of scaping around of resident services. So the back left hand corner is quite flat, and there is a nice little seating area over there, and there's lots of trees and things, but then all along the right hand side, and it curves right around the front, so you get a nice viewing platform of resident services, so you can look down on Tom Nook and Isabel. And also just makes a really nice walkway as well, and there's some cute little bills up here. Lots and lots of kind of natural elements to this, yet it still feels like a town. So I really like this one, and you just get all of the natural autumn colors popping through, and it's just gorgeous. Who can deny how nice all of this foliage is? Just a lovely another way to take your resident services to the next level. For number 5, we are visiting Electre's gorgeous Overgrown island, and this resident services is great. The theme is quite specific, however you could definitely take inspiration from what they've done here with the landscaping. Having cliffs surrounding the back half of resident services is a great way to go if you don't have lots of walls and things to use as a backdrop. The terraforming works wonderfully. I also love what they've done here with the front of resident services by having all of this overgrown area, but there's also a train station here, which is a really nice touch. I think resident services does make a great train station if you are looking for some inspiration as to what build to make for it. The next island we're visiting is by Animalcrossing over on Instagram, and this is a gorgeous island. They've definitely gone to town with the rustic town / city feel, and they have used a lot of the medieval side walls and a lot of the castle walls here. However, I love what they've done with this resident services build because they have really played with different levels, different heights, and used their terraforming and used those walls to make something that's very kind of pleasing to the eye and unsymmetrical, which if you're doing an elegant island, it doesn't have to be symmetrical all the time. Any island, I really like the way that people can play with these different heights. So over on the left hand side we have the kind of more built up area, and then on the right hand side it's definitely more flat, but you have a great entranceway down into resident services with this lovely kind of gazebo fountain build area, and I love that they've added the bridge in as well. It's just all so nicely done. Feels super elegant yet rustic at the same time. It's just a fabulous area. Next up, we're on a beautiful autumn town created by alex.crossing_islands, and this resident services is so clever. I love the way that she has used her resident services to divide between two very different areas of the island. So one half of this island is very kind of city. You've got the city paths, the city builds, and that's all in the kind of bottom left hand corner. And then in the right hand corner, this is where it flows into the more natural area, and you can see the kind of overgrown autumn elements here, which is gorgeous. There's very little terraforming here. There is a little kind of build in the right hand corner and in the left hand corner, but these are very kind of minimal terraforming. There's a little rooftop, which is a really nice touch, but overall I just like the way that she's also managed to incorporate different builds around her resident services as well. So it doesn't just have to focus on resident services and the area itself, it can be about the little kind of filler builds that you do around it. For example, the basketball court that she's got behind. Just so creative. For number 8, we're on El Serene Arts Island of Gardenia, and this island lives up to the name. This island is really heavily about flowers and all of that kind of like really bright natural goodness, and they have done that with this resident services. There is so many flowers, so many trees. I love the way that they've used the cutout standees at the back of the resident services. That really adds to it, and I feel it's something that we don't often see. So if you're looking for an alternative way to spice up the backdrop for your resident services, definitely think about that. I also think the terraforming around here is pretty interesting as well. On the left hand corner we have some water terraforming, and then on the right hand corner Elle has made good use of some shapes by using this diagonal terraforming and also this diagonal orchard, which is definitely something different, and I love the way that it kind of flows off of resident services as well. So overall this just really adds to the whole vibe of the island, and I think it's really bright and beautiful. For number 9, we're on Becca Crossing's island of Mirage, and this is a stunning island. This resident services is so close to the airport. It's literally only a few steps away and then the plaza is there, and they have done a wonderful job of making use of that little tiny space that they have to create this wonderful plaza area. So I love what they've done with adding in the castle walls at the back, using the turrets, and they've also thought about their terraforming and inclines here, as you can actually walk up and go all around and come back down. There is a lovely market up behind resident services, so creative. The details on the lower level surrounding resident services are gorgeous as well, which really helped feel like you're in an actual desert with some pops of greenery, flowers, weeds, even the ruins. They look wonderful. I love the whole feel of this area, and I think sometimes resident services stands out, but it's actually kind of blends in with the whole theme, which I really love. And for number 10, we are on the island of Sakura, created by Majesty_Maria over on Twitter, and this is a gorgeous island. I love all of the natural light colors, the pinks and the yellows, but we're here to talk about the resident services, and boy, this delivers. This has got a little bit of everything. We've got some storefronts over on the right hand side as a nice way to lead up to a higher elevated area. We've got lots of trees, lots of natural elements. We've even got water terraforming. I especially want to point out what she's done with the fencing. There's lots of different fencing types here. We've got 3 different types and they all work perfectly together. The whole area just feels really nice, just so serene and beautiful, and definitely somewhere where I would love to spend a spring day. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed looking at these different resident services with me, and it's given you some inspiration for what to do for your next resident services build. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye bye.